Hello, I'm Kevin O'Hare in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. Today I'll be joined by Tania Sharp in the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. Tania and I would like to welcome you to today's webcast. As we head into spring, it is evident that another testing window is quickly approaching. Not only is a window coming up, but we are also going to be introduced to a quality of school climate and safety survey, as well as field test items for reading, mathematics, social studies, editing mechanics, and on-demand writing. Let's take a quick look at the topics we will focus on today. The first thing is the alternate assessment survey that closes March 31st. I do want to note that other than the alternate assessment survey, we are only going to talk about what you will encounter during the second testing window, April 13th through May 29th. The first thing is the alternate assessment survey that went out on January 27th in the DAC Monday email and January 28th in the special alternate assessment email. This survey, not to be confused with the Quality of School Climate and Safety survey, is specific to decisions for the alternate assessment moving forward. The survey is only 4 questions and will take little time to complete. For any DACs, Directors of Special Education, District Alternate Assessment Consultants, and Alternate Assessment Teachers who have not yet completed this survey, I encourage you to do so before March the 31st. The Quality of School Climate and Safety survey will represent 4% of the entire accountability system for this year. And as it states in the regulation, it is required by all students. This means alternate assessment students too. The only students who would not take the survey would be students who receive either a medical or extraordinary circumstance non-participation. The survey for alternate students will be reduced from 30 items to 10 items. The 4 response options of strongly disagree, agree, or strongly agree will be represented with the pictures of thumbs up and thumbs down. The survey is to be completed the first day you choose to administer the Window 2 assessment, after April 13, of course, before any content area assessment is administered. It will only be required the first day of the administration, and like the Window 2 attainment task and field test items, the survey responses will be included in the student registration database. Slide 5 shows a quick snapshot of the survey for students participating in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment. You can access the grade 3 through 5 and grade 6 through 12 survey items by going to the KDE website, select the Assessment and Accountability link, then Accountability. The last area to choose is the Quality of School Climate and Safety survey link. The surveys can also be found in the alternate assessment email that this video was introduced with today. On slide 6, you will see the remaining test requirements for 2020. The TAR opened in September and will remain open until May 29th. The Window 2 assessment will open April 13th and close on May the 29th. Also note the Quality of School Climate and Safety survey along with the field test item shown on slide 6. The information shown here on slide 7 is very important. When completing the spring assessment, the first thing you will need to do is the survey. So that first day of testing, before you begin the actual Window 2 assessment, the survey needs to be finished. At the conclusion of the survey, you can then administer reading first, or science at grade 11, since that is the only grade for Window 2 that will not administer reading first. At the conclusion of the one content area to be completed for that day, you may then complete the 2 items for the field test, if your student is comfortable doing so. Day 2, the survey has been completed, so you would start with mathematics or writing at grade 11, then the field test items for that content area. The only difference will be grade 12. For grade 12, the survey would need to be administered, then the 2 field test items. Once that is finished, no further testing will be required for 12th graders. So a quick recap: survey first, Window 2 assessment, 1 per day, and then the 2 items for the field test. Just to make sure everyone understands the order of administration, the survey is completed on the first day, first thing before anything else. I repeat, the survey is completed on your first day of administration before any test is given. Then the Window 2 tasks, D through F, for the content area permitted for the day is to be administered. So if you're completing the reading Window 2 assessment, you would administer tasks D through F for reading. Then you could complete the 2 reading field test items. At that point, reading is complete. The next day, you could start math, task D through F, since the survey was completed on day 1. At the conclusion of task D through F for math, then complete the 2 field test items for math. At that point, all of math is complete. I just want to make sure that everyone is comfortable with the spring administration from start to finish. Again, the field test will be included as part of the window to assessment. When your materials arrive either the week of March 23rd or March 30th, you will receive 30 copies of the field test answer sheet for each school. Those scores will then be incorporated into the SRD, the same as scores for tasks D through F, along with the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey. Also, a follow-up survey will be shared towards the end of the window in May to share any feedback around the field test items. For the field test, all content areas will have 2 items represented and 2 standards, which we will talk about shortly. As we discussed on slides 8 and 9, Window 2 attainment tasks will be tasks D, E, and F, as they have been for 9 years now. The field test for reading, math, social studies, and editing mechanics will be task G. On-demand writing will be task H. So I need to clarify, writing will have 2 items for editing and mechanics as task G, and 2 items for on-demand writing as task H. All responses for the window to assessment, the field test items, and the survey will be documented on a paper score sheet at the time of completion and then recorded in the student registration database. Slide 11 displays the remaining dates leading up to the end of the school year. It shows the arrival of Window 2 materials based on the options selected. April 13th begins the window to assessment, and it will remain open until May 29th, as will the TAR. Anyone who will need to test beyond May 29th must contact me to request that testing be permitted beyond the May 29th deadline. Unfortunately, June 5th is the last day scores can be entered into the SRD, based on reporting deadlines, standard setting procedures, and other end-of-year requirements. Now I'll turn it over to Tania to discuss the alternate assessment targets.
So now that we have talked about the upcoming work during Window 2 involving the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey, Task D through F, and the field test, Tasks G and H, let's discuss for a moment where those field test items actually came from. Over the past several years, the information tested for the alternate K-Prep was considered alternate assessment standards. However, our most recent peer review from the United States Department of Education noted that we could no longer call them alternate assessment standards because we were teaching and testing Kentucky academic standards. With that information, the decision was made to call the testing information alternate assessment targets. What that means is we will teach Kentucky academic standards, as we always have, and test them with specific targets that break down what the test consists of. When we identified the content before as standards, we identified 6 specific standards per content area. Again, the results of the peer review asked that all Kentucky academic standards be tested. KDE is going to move forward with 10 instead of 40 or 50 at a given content area and do our best to meet the full intent that is most meaningful for our students. Some of the standards that we will test do not have alternate assessment targets, as they are reduced in depth and breadth and cannot be reduced beyond the original intent of the standard. With the adoption of the Kentucky Academic Standards in June and July of 2019, the timing for selecting standards to use for the alternate assessment field test had to occur in a very timely manner. The first meeting between alternate assessment teachers and content teachers from all around Kentucky occurred in mid-September. Their task was to rank or prioritize the top 10 standards they felt were most accessible to our students. Once that occurred, regional low incidence consultants, along with regional and state content experts, members from the assessment and special ed offices at the department, worked in December and January to take the Kentucky academic standards and reduce in depth and breadth as much as possible while still remaining aligned. So again, the field test is only represented by 2 Kentucky academic standards out of 10. The remaining standards that were selected will be shared out in late May. Remember, as we noted on slide 12, not all the Kentucky academic standards selected will be represented by an alternate assessment target. If the standard is unable to be reduced further, it will note that there are no limitations to the standard, meaning it would be taught exactly as it is written. Slide 15 shares a screenshot of the Kentucky Academic Standards and Alternate Assessment Targets field test document. It only includes the field test standards being tested as part of Window 2. All remaining standards will be released later in May for the upcoming school year 2020-2021. As you can see in the document, the standard is listed as well as the alternate assessment target. Now, let's talk a little about what you can expect after testing. So the first thing will be the remaining Kentucky Academic Standards and any alternate assessment testing targets identified. Another key area to focus on are the regional trainings being developed by the low incidence consultants, KDE content experts, special education and assessment offices. We also hope to release timelines for regional trainings, and fingers crossed, we hope to be able to share any changes based on results from the alternate assessment survey that closes March 31st. Now I'm going to turn it over to Kevin to wrap things up.
So to summarize the video today, our main focus for now is Window 2, which begins April 13th and will run through May 29th for the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey, the Window 2 task D through F, and the field test items. Again, all Quality of School Climate and Safety, Window 2 task, and field test results will be submitted in the SRD before June 5th. For questions about the assessment, the survey, field test, feel free to contact me either by phone or email. For questions about placement, student participation, please let Tania know. For the new Kentucky Academic Standards and alternate assessment targets, I feel Tania, myself, or your regional low incidence consultants could all provide some details around that entire process. I know Tania and I have referenced the low incidence consultants on several occasions today. If you are not familiar with your regional representative, slide 19 shows who represents your area. Our low incidence consultants go above and beyond to provide amazing services each and every day. So this concludes our March 2020 updates. As noted, today our focus was more about Window 2 and expectations for moving forward. We will be back sometime in May to give you a more in-depth look at the future and what type of changes may be coming. As noted, we have not determined a specific date yet for May. Once we know something for sure, we will share it out via alternate assessment email. Thank you all for everything that you do each and every day. Good luck with the upcoming assessments and have a great day.